Yes, welcome back, everyone. Welcome in. If you are new and joining us right now, you're here at the Stream Queens Juneteenth event. We've been talking about everything Black all day long. So if you are here, thank you so much for being here. If you're white and being an ally, thank you for being here and showing up and listening to our voices and listening to what we have to say today. Um, my name is Luca Me. I am a drag king and alien here on Twitch. But when I'm not in face, I do identify as female, which is why I'm moderating this panel, the Black Independent Women panel. And we have a fabulous assortment of people here with us today to talk on their experiences and to let y'all know some insight into what it's like to be us. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So let's start with Call the Flower. Let us know who you are and a little bit about yourself.
All right. I am Call the Flower. I go by she, they. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. I'm a proud member of Sisters of the Fog. You can find me Call the Flower on Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. Yeah.
Period. Yes.
Woo! Yes, this is the fun. Let's go.
Yes. Speaking of which, Dire Diva, let us know about you.
Hello, I am your spooky and kooky content creator, Diehard Diva, here on Twitch and on YouTube. I play a lot of Dead by Daylight and horror games. I'm also a fog whisperer with DVD. I am a community manager with Sisters of the Fog, and I'm really happy to be here. Also, my pronouns are she, her. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. Amazing. Let's pass it down to Tasha.
In a diagonal, I am Tasha, also known as Tasha
Oh,
Who. I am also a variety streamer. I would say 75% Dead by Daylight. I have also been playing Knockout City. I variety of different games. I'm also a member of the team Level Up. And you can also find me on Instagram, Tasha Who _ TTV, or on Twitter, Token Mixed Girl.
And
yes.
I am also she,
Amazing.
her.
Yes, that as well. And Lyrica, sorry, I did not mean to go tackling and miss you, but let's go back up to Lyrica.
You're off the curve.
So hi, my name's Lyrica. I go by Look It's Lyrica on pretty much everything. My pronouns are she, her, and I am primarily a Dead by Daylight and variety streamer. I do probably about, I'd say, almost 90% Dead by Daylight. I'm a Huntress main, and I'm on the Stream Team Emporium.
Yes. And to close this out, Metal and Coffee, let us know about you.
Hello, my name is Metal and Coffee. I am a live code and a horror game streamer. These days, I'm doing some more so code because I'm a full-time web developer. Um, my pronouns are she and her. I'm also a part of the Sisters of the Fog. I play a lot of Deadlight every day. Not streaming, but I am trying to get my rank 1 survivor. I'm almost there. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here and talk about all the cool stuff.
All the cool stuff.
Yes, all the cool stuff. And yes, also, as you all might have heard, some of us have mentioned Sisters of the Fog. They are another wonderful team of Black femmes and non-binary people. Several of us on the panel and throughout the convention today have been members of the team that are on here, so please check them out. Sisters of the Fog. I'm sure someone will just shout out and chat, but please check them out because they're doing amazing work as well. And why not keep getting the melanin in your life?
Exactly.
Period. And so speaking of melanin, I'm gonna start us off with a quote by Malcolm X, which he says, "The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman." Uh, and even though that was said decades ago, unfortunately, that statement still holds true to this day. And I want to touch on that. And I want to touch also on how we can improve that and change that statement for the future. So jump in, my first question for y'all is, as a Black woman, we not only deal with issues regarding our race as well as our gender, and we each have different intersections of our identity, whether it's our sexual orientation, our level of abilities, our economic status, our mental health, and more. Do you find that you're often in situations where some of those intersections of your identity are disregarded or put in the back burner for others. I know personally, as someone who is both Black and female and queer, a lot of times I have to navigate which thing is going to be more important, which thing I need to worry about in what situations, because when people advocate for us, they worry about just me as a Black person or just me as a woman or just me as a queer person, and oftentimes don't think about how all of those things exist in the same person at the same time, which can be frustrating because then you're often pulled in multiple directions. I wanted to hear what y'all think about that and what your experiences are with that. Tasha, let's start with you.
Let's start with me first. Oh,
Yeah.
is me okay? Okay, let's make sure I'm deafened. For me, for the most part, I mean, I am cis, I am straight, I am a woman of color. I also grew up with majority male family members. So, when everybody's being the tomboy and playing around, they always want to kind of force me into dressing up and not messing my hair up and not getting my dress dirty, and it was kind of annoyance. And I think for me, juxtaposed to other family members that actually told me to be who I was, regardless of how I grew up, that transcended into me as an adult being able to navigate in areas where, whether it was my color or my race, being I would say maybe a ceiling or a hindrance, just kind of blasting through it. I think growing up, kind of be forced into these shells of what's ideally a woman, what's ideally a Black woman, helped me navigate a lot better, and it allowed me to help others learn to navigate those same spaces. I know that a lot of women, especially Black women, don't have that benefit, and so I'm always good for trying to assist them in knowing their worth in both spaces.
Yeah, I think that's something you touched on, the idea of like we spend so much of our childhood dealing with certain expectations society puts on us, and then having to deal with, okay, is that something that I align with? Is that something that I want to break out of? And that's something that we need to unpack the older we get, of like, okay, like how much does actually range true within how I actually identify? And sometimes it can be hard when society puts so much of that on us to then think, okay, do I actually relate to that? Is that actually my experience? How do I find what works for me and what I feel most comfortable in? Yeah. What about you, Lyrica?
So I think for me and myself, also being Black but biracial and understanding that there's certain hardships that I don't necessarily face at the same intensity because I am a lighter skinned Black woman. But I think for me growing up, there was this big notion of that ideal of the strong Black woman and what it meant to be a strong Black woman. And I think that I received a lot of that not only from my surrounding environment, but also from my family as well, trying to come from a place of wanting to be in good faith, wanting to strengthen me, wanting to prepare me for the hardships of the world, not understanding that it put a complete back burner on how I handled and how I dealt with my own mental health. So oftentimes that narrative of the strong Black woman meant to just be silent and, have a backbone and just push through it. And that does no service to our mental health whatsoever. And in fact, I remember it leading me to a position to where I was like, I'm dealing with A, B, C, and D. And I've been going through years of just pushing it aside because that's what it is to be strong. When really you're not doing yourself a service or anybody else a service if you can't have a safe environment to work through those things. And not being able to work on my mental health leads to not being able to explore what it is for me to be a Black woman and a biracial woman and a queer woman.
I think that especially is something that a lot of times society equates strong as like just not showing your emotions or not expressing the issues that are going on in your lives, and the idea that that's false. There's strength in having a voice. There's strength in talking about your experiences or expressing when you're not at 100%, and it's the idea of like, yes, it's in some ways it's empowering to see like strong Black women, but also it can be really detrimental when you're like, okay, but what do I do when I actually am not feeling great and when I need to address certain issues in my life and when I need to do those things? And yeah, it can be really hard on your mentality when you have that, and when everyone else around you is not giving you the space to process your feelings and process what's going on in your life in a healthy way. Absolutely. Dahar Diva, how about you?
There we go. Okay, what's the
Hey.
mute button? Okay. I think one of the biggest things is like my physical appearance. Um, in my family, we are known for every genetics, whether it be your body, your tatas, anything. But growing up, mine was more of like my hair appearance.
Mm.
Because in society, like in your family, they'll tell you one thing. They're like, oh, you're beautiful. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But then if you grow up in, let's say, a like a public school, and you're surrounded by people who don't look like you, then they'll say something like, I'm sure we heard this sentence, you look pretty for a black girl.
Mm.
I'm seeing the head nods. I'm seeing the head nods. So that meant
Right.
that thought is just like dug deep into your head, and it's like, what does that mean? It's like, how, like, why do you think I look beautiful as a black woman? How do I change that? So like, just throughout the years, learning how to like change my appearance, whether it is putting a lot of makeup on, eyelashes, putting wigs on, getting a perm or anything like that. Like that affects your mental health when you look in the mirror and you're like, is this really who I am? But when your family, when you see your family, they're like, this isn't who you are. Like, we like you just natural curls and everything. It's just that constant struggle and battle of like what actual beauty is, or like accepting your personal beauty, or I guess your true beauty. That's something that's definitely been a situation um dealing with growing up too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that not enough people talk about, the idea of there's so many beautiful things about being black in terms of like your skin, your hair, uh, and unfortunately, in a lot of media, they don't want to highlight that, and so that's really damaging as a
Mhm.
child to see that, or to have other kids who don't fully understand this will say negative things, and you're like, and you're trying to figure out how to love yourself, but when you aren't given as many examples as you can, it can be really hard to learn how to love yourself. Like I regret so much the amount of relaxers I used to put in my hair as a kid. I think of how much that damaged my hair, and I'm literally over quarantine. I've had a friend be like, "All right, I'm gonna show you how to moisturize your hair, and it's gonna grow, and we're gonna get you on your back to healthy hair," because I literally damaged my hair so much, and I was like, you know what? Thank you for holding me accountable for taking care of it, and like really having people in your corner to show you how to
How to love
love your
yourself. Mhm.
features. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so important, and it's so beautiful when that happens, because it sucks when you spend so much time debating whether or not you like a certain feature, when it's like, no, there are really wonderful things that make us all unique that other people don't have, but we need to learn how to embrace it and be given examples of people embracing their skin and their hair and their body and all of it.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What about you, Cauliflower?
First off, I completely agree with what everybody has said. Um, so growing up, my mom was a single mother, and I respect her so much. Like, just like so, all the hardships that she's like overcome and like has faced, and just to take care of me and my brother, like I respect her so much. And same with like the relaxers. I used to get relaxers as well, and then I I don't even know what the turning point was exactly, but I know that she went natural, and then shortly after, I was like, "You know what? I wanna go natural too." And I just feel like it's just so embedded that with society that we have to look a certain way, or our hair has to be a certain way, and it's just so frustrating. Um, and I don't know. It definitely plays, like, a role in the mental health as well, because just, like, feeling like, "Oh, you have to do this, oh, you have to do that," like Die Hard Diva said, like, "You have to wear makeup and you have to wear this wig," like, I just feel like we just don't get enough praise for us in our natural state as we do with putting all the other things on, and I think that's something that needs to change for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's there's so much of like, we all like, we have our sort of professional selves and whatever that may be, like whether it's the clothes we're wearing or the makeup we're putting on or the hairstyles we're doing. And so it's weird when you do all that, think, okay, like when I take those clothes off, when I take that makeup off, how do I still love the person that is underneath that? And it's like those things are wonderful and those things enhance, those things are fun and nothing wrong with those, but also like learning how to love yourself outside of that can be definitely a challenge for sure. And it's so important to figure out ways to find joy in that and to love those parts of yourself. It's like I can't tattoo my face blue. I mean, I could, but I don't want to tattoo my face blue. So like, how do I love myself when I'm not a blue alien? It's like those things are so important. It's like, how do you love yourself when you're not in that state? And that's so beautiful when you see people embracing that and seeing them love that. Because that's just such a genuine joy that you can't replicate. Meadow Coffee, how about you?
Well, first I'll start off by saying I definitely agree with everyone. Can relate to what everyone has said so far. Um, and just for my experience so far, well, as a child, being a Black woman, and also being someone, and this is what people would tell me, that my interests were super white. Everything I liked was white. Whatever that means nothing these days. But as a child, being into super heavy rock music, or just rock music in general, are just not doing what the stereotypical Black girl was doing. That always got me in some sort of debacle where I was being made fun of, and just it ultimately led to me even questioning. I'm like, why do I like these things if it's gonna get me made fun of? Why do I like metal music? Why do I like wearing band T-shirts? All that. And I think my turning point for all of that, along with all of the other struggles I was going through, was kind of honestly, my turning point didn't even come until like college. It took until I was like 18, 19 to finally accept and love everything that was unique about me. My curly hair, dark skin, along with me liking metal music and, just headbanging and all of that. Like all the things that was so non-stereotypical. I was finally learning to love all of that, all of that stuff. And that's one of the things that I wish would kind of change a little more, because I feel like a lot of people aren't familiar with Afro alternative individuals. Um, they're not only are we natural and beautiful, we look how we look like and we're beautiful. We also like everything we want to like. We like anything. There's no one thing we like. I'm sure everyone has heard this growing up. We only like hip hop and rap music. No, it's not the only thing we like. I love it, but it's not the only thing we like. We come in so many different shapes, sizes, and personalities. So I really, really hope, and it has been getting slowly better. The awareness of that has been getting better, but it's still a thing. Like I can still recount one past experience within the past 5 days where someone would look me up and down, and be like, "You're into that? Like, aren't we
Mm.
over? You should be over that by now. Like, we aren't just one kind of personality as a Black woman." So that's definitely something that comes to mind as well. Growing up, kind of accepting my personality and interests as being authentically me, and I'm not trying to be white, which is what I was told a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's such a weird connotation when people place certain things as like things for only white people, when in reality a lot of those things that people claim are for white people are actually originated in things with Black culture or originated with other people of color. So it's like, actually this was ours and we're just reclaiming it. I was like, actually that was mine. A lot of this rock music and a lot of this metal is actually ours, so I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, this idea of something has to be white so therefore you can't and be interested in it, when that limits, it's like, okay, well, I was like, I'm connecting to the feeling of what this invokes, or I'm connecting to how this makes me feel. This isn't about, like it being tied to being a white thing. It's about you connecting with whatever the feeling or the emotion that it's invoking, and that is why it resonates. That's why music is so powerful. It's because it resonates with people because of the feeling it evokes, or the clothing or fashion. It's like those things are about how you are personally connecting to it, not so much what your skin color is that allows you to like it or not. And it can be limiting when people put you in that box. Again, that fucks with your mental health in terms of thinking like, okay, like if people keep putting me in this box, is that a box I'm supposed to fit into or not? And so I think each of us would touch on different points of our identity in which when Black women are given space to explore those and to flourish them, they're happier for it, and they're able to grow more for it. And so limiting them to only being their race or only being their gender and not letting them exist can be really damaging. And so something to keep in mind if you're someone who's ever said that in this chat, to clock yourself and to make sure that you are processing how your words come off and how your connotations of what you're saying affect us. Speaking of things affecting us and being against us, I think also something I'll touch on is the fact that a lot of times our voices are often silenced. Black women are often at the forefront of a lot of movements, speaking up about really important issues and putting our lives at risk to speak up about situations, whether it's our physical safety, whether it's equality in certain situations, and our voices are often silenced and our safety and care is often regarded. What are things that you would like to see to change that? I think for me, as I touched on before, I think words have a lot of power, and I think a lot of times people don't think about what they're saying and how that is silencing Black women, or thinking about the way they're entering certain spaces and how that silences Black women or doesn't allow women to say what they need to say. And so I want people to be more cognizant of what they're saying and how they're interacting with Black women and how that affects what we have to say in our spaces. Tasha, what are your thoughts?
For the most part, I always found whether it's professional or personal, it becomes kind of an ironic catch-22, because you're right. Black women, especially, are kind of on the forefront when it comes to battles. But at the same time, when we're more assertive, it becomes kind of the angry Black woman motif. So it's like, do you want us to be quiet or do you want us to fight? How do you want to play this? And of course, I'm also a loudmouth and I will speak my mind regardless, whether it is professional or a personal setting. And I guess the best way to navigate it, honestly, is just to keep doing what you do. Because people are going to have something to say, whatever. If I'm the angry Black woman, at least understand why you feel I'm angry. And, I'm going to keep talking. You can try to dismiss me as much as you want to. It's not going to stop my fight. I think getting other people to acknowledge how we navigate, why we're fighting, why we are on the forefront, that's going to be a battle we're going to continue to have regardless. But at the same time, we need to kind of take care of ourselves, be unashamed of being powerful people is the best way to just remember that. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think touching on the idea of like, we're not angry, we're passionate, and we're driven is like, those are two separate things. I was like, sometimes we are angry, but also usually we're passionate. And then the fact that you keep dismissing the passion, then we get angry because you kept pushing that off. And so, yeah, the idea of like, figure out what led to us being angry, to figure out why we're angry. And I think, yeah, a lot of times, like you mentioned, like sometimes we diminish ourselves because of shame, or like people keep policing us and telling us to be quiet. And so then you're like, okay, well, if everyone keeps telling me to be quiet, like, should I be quiet? And the idea of like, no, like you said, like, I'm not going to let you shut me up. We're going to keep talking because this needs to be said. And I think that's a big thing, is like, when it comes to our lives being at stake in the lives of the people that we care about, like, we can't, like, we only live once, and we're not going to let y'all We're not gonna let y'all talk over our lives like that. Like that's not how that works. We want to enjoy our lives at some point. That's the goal, is to enjoy ourselves at some point. What about you, Lyrica?
So I think one of the main things for me that I would like to see change, and I think this is going to resonate with a couple other people, is performativeness. From people who label themselves as allies or supporters, I think that it's something that is more than just annoying. It's more than just exhausting for us, which it is both of those things, and angering. It's also dangerous. It is so dangerous, in my opinion, because not only is it in its nature as being performative, is it gaining attention and taking attention away from what we should be focusing on, which is uplifting the Black woman. But it also puts us in a position of danger in that we are not able to express ourselves freely. We're not able to give out our true experiences freely because there's this person or people trying to basically co-opt in a very odd way, kind of co-opt our struggle instead of saying, how can I help?
Mm.
And I think that's something that definitely needs to change because our voices need to be in the forefront for us to be able to, reach the potential that we all deserve to reach, and for us to be able to be safe and being heard, and for us in the world to truly see, how much the Black woman is kind of like the foundation of so many things, especially in this nation. That needs to change. The performativeness needs to come down, and we need to be at the forefront.
Yeah, I think that not enough people take the time to recognize the difference between when they're helping and when they're hindering something. It's like you could have all the best intentions, but if you are still taking away space from the voice that need to be heard, if you're still not actually uplifting those voices more than just on Juneteenth or more than just February, like you are not doing your part. It's like our lives still matter in September,
Yes.
in March, in January. Like it doesn't matter. And so it's like you
Every
can't
day.
literally every day. And yeah, and so thinking about or when people center their experiences around, like around them rather than centering it around the actual people that are at hand is maddening. I was like, I don't talk this often, but like not there's anything wrong with dating white people because like summer, like it works out. But I very much had a partner who's still like they're well intentioned, but centered a lot of this past year around them, and I was like, why is it every time a Black person dies, you're way more depressed than I am? I was like, I don't, you were, and it's like the way you're reacting to these things is not in a way that is centering around uplifting other Black people, but is centering around yourself uh, and your experiences, and you making me have to comfort you when I'm the one who's hurting right now. I think of like, we're no longer together that's one for
Yes.
multiple reasons. But that was definitely one of that irked me so much. There's so many instances where I think a lot of times a lot of white people, Black people don't realize when they do that of centering experiences around themselves or turning it into like a please comfort me because I feel ashamed of how much I've silenced Black voices, and it's like, okay, but now you're still doing it because now you're forcing me to comfort you, or you're trying to get me to comfort you, and then you're getting upset when I don't comfort you, because that's not the goal. That's not what this is about. It's about letting me speak and letting me have the stage, not you pretending
Yeah.
that you care so that way people will feel for you in some way. So yeah, performative activism is definitely dangerous, and if you're someone who's doing it, please unpack that. We're not going to unpack it for you. I need you to take your time to unpack it
No.
yourself because that's a
And be
lot.
complicit in our joy. Be complicit in our joy. Celebrate our joy with us.
Yes, yeah. I think it might have been. I mean, I've seen multiple people post this on Twitter, but the idea of like, let something will blow up on Twitter or on social media, and everyone will engage with the post because some drama is going down. And the minute someone posts a picture of them like enjoying being outside, it's like no engagement. It's like, why is it that y'all only are here for when I'm going through emotional strife, but you're not here for me enjoying the sunlight or just enjoying myself at the beach today, or just enjoying that like I braided my hair today? Like, why is that not getting as much love, if not more love, because I'm enjoying myself? So yeah, absolutely. praise us and uplift us in our good times, even more so. And both to be supporters when things are rough, but also don't look for just the drama. We're not here for entertainment. We are here because we're human beings existing. Diehard Diva, what about you?
I think one thing is definitely the mentality of, I know we as Black women, we work 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 20 times harder than a lot of people. But I need the mentality of people to stop thinking that we can take anything, we can tank anything. Because at the end of the day, yes, we can do it, but we're still tired. So, like, prime example, it's like there are times where I'm at work, I have a day job, and people put more work on me because they know, oh, she can handle it. She's a strong woman. She's got that. But they don't do it to my other coworkers, and I'm like, I know my skin's black, but I have the same blood and bones like they do. We're still the same. I mean, my blood's boiling right now, but I'm just saying. But it's at the same time that affects our health. So it's like we can do it. Yes, we're not machines, but stop that mentality of like, yes, we are workaholics. Yes, we can take anything because we're strong, we're independent, we can do anything, we can take the world in our own hands. No, no, no. We are human just like you are. Let our health come first. Like, yes, if you want work done, do it yourself. I mean, yes, pay me extra, but I want my health is priority, just like you. Work can get done, but I want my health to be a priority, just like every single person around you, even if they don't look like me. That's the big thing right there.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely this weird notion that I think some of that kind of goes back to some of the tropes that we see in history of like, as we call it, like the magical Negro, or like the idea of like the mammy character, the idea that like historically those have been a lot of the images of Black women that we've had, of like either this wise Black person that just walks in and like gives you the magical wisdom and then like dips out, or like this person that is meant to be this ultimate caregiver and give everything of their life to you. And that's not fair, because it's like uh those are um those are stereotypes that have been crafted to aid other people, but none of those are centered around uplifting Black women. Those are not centered around caring about their mental health or caring about their physical health, or anything like that. And so it's like, just because, again, like you said, just because we can doesn't mean that we should. And also the idea of like, we all don't live, I mean, like, even though some of us may enjoy working, we also don't live for literally working ourselves into the ground. Like, we actually, especially enough, want to we work so that we can do the things we enjoy. We don't want to actually be working we're literally a pile of dust. And we should not be treated that way or assume that we want to be doing that. Yeah. Cauliflower, how about you?
All right. So I'm gonna shift it in a different direction.
Okay.
I agree with what everyone has said, and like you guys have all hit the nail on the head perfectly. I definitely feel like Black women are the therapists of a lot of different groups. We are the go-to person. We are the person we are the people uplifting and not being uplifted. Um, I feel like we have been that way for a couple of years, and I think that needs to change because like I don't know, like it just makes me so upset. And then I think things that need to change as far as healthcare, I feel like we are not taken seriously in the healthcare industry. Education, we are not taken seriously in the education system. And just overall treatment of the Black woman. I just feel like we are just so belittled, and so we're not taken seriously. And like we get one point, we're getting told that we're strong, we're independent, we can do this, and then the next point we're getting called insults, and it breaks my heart. And I think that that is something that needs to change, like, now. So that's like the I wanted to like go even deeper, like as such as the healthcare, because like I know that it's like very the healthcare system, we just don't get taken seriously. And we once were told that they didn't think that we could feel pain the same way that other people felt. So I just think that something needs to change in those industries as well as a whole.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cases in which I think so many Black women can account for. They've gone to the doctors, and then the doctors be like, "You're fine," when you're like, "No, I'm very certain I'm feeling pain, or I'm very certain something's happening in my body." And it's like, why is it that I have to tell you, who is supposedly the medical professional, that I'm very certain there's something wrong with my body? And the idea of uh, women in general are already usually tend to have to prove themselves even harder to prove what they're feeling is true, and then being Black on top of that, it's like the amount of hoops you have to go through just to prove that you need care for something, or that you need to be believed in the idea that you have to be like 1,000% sure that something is happening in order to be believed. And it's like, okay, that actually is costing people's lives. By the time we actually get to diagnosing something, someone could be missing out on serious care that they need because they're not being believed. Uh, and a lot of times people want to just assume that because someone has a doctorate or has a degree and is in the medical field or is in the education field, that they know everything and that they're perfect. When in actuality, a lot of them have a lot of biases that they haven't uh, in- dealt with or unpacked at all, and that's extremely dangerous. Um, and a lot of times people don't think to hold them accountable, but it's like there are lives at stake. It's like, it's like this isn't just like, oh, I have a paper cut. This is like I have something possibly going on in my body that needs to be addressed very quickly, or that could have been dealt with a lot sooner and could have put a halt to something even more serious happening in my body had they taken me seriously. Um, and yeah, I think especially in education as well, there's a lot of cases in which, uh, again, students and other educators aren't doing what they need to be doing to unpack the biases they have, and then bringing that into that, and then teaching other people the same biases that they have, and then it continues the cycle. I think about a lot of like, I feel a lot of us have experiences in colleges or in high school and middle school where there's certain instances where an educator said something or done something, and you're like, wow, you are someone who's actually in charge of molding minds right now, and you said something extremely offensive or said something completely wrong that is detrimental, and now you have 40 other students who now believe that notion because you decided to teach that, rather than you unpacking the fact that that is not uh, accurate information at all. So yeah, I think especially it's something that more people need to do, is holding people accountable. Don't assume that someone has a degree that they are correct. Don't assume just because someone has a certain place in society that they are. Hold people accountable. Everyone's human. We're all fallible. Yeah. Metal Coffee, what about you?
Well, I do think every really super important aspect has been super covered and really well explained. But I'll go more into the kind of the allyship, because the touching on the this performing the fakeness was really important, and that was what I was going to touch on a little bit. But I also wanted to bring emphasize how important it is for allies to, yes, definitely bring Black women to the forefront and make space for them. And what it means to make space for us is actually actively talking to us and bringing us into whatever community, whatever industry that you are finding is completely lacking in diversity. Because so often you'll find a group, community, industry that's like, oh, we want more Black women, we want more diversity, but they're not doing anything. They're just saying it. And they're putting like inclusive and diverse in their tagline, company tagline, community tagline, whatever. But all you have to do is go to their team page and you know there's literally nothing on the page that makes it that 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 says inclusion or diverse. And so, and I feel like that's kind of an annoyance too. Like, I feel like a lot of people want to use those two words, but not do anything besides use the two words. Um, but if you truly want to make us feel included and make our voices important, in the many different industries, education, health, um, tech community, whatever careers that completely whitewash, especially tech, which is what I'm definitely can give you some stories about that. You need to make our voices matter and check your coworkers, check your friends, because racism is systematic. I can't count how many times I've been talked over and they didn't even know if they're an ally, or if they're it was a genuine mistake. They literally don't even think twice about it. They just talk over you and pretend you're not there. And that's rooted in what they were taught. Like black skin and women, they don't matter, so let's just start talking right now. And so you people really need to check that, because it's really sad how ingrained in men and white men that is, and how often every black woman, every woman experiences that. um and I think that's honestly the most important. If you are an ally, if you can identify those things, those I don't really know, is it a microaggression? I don't know. Those things that really like um suppress black women, you need to call that out right away, because that contributes to our voices not being heard, and it hurts our mental health severely. Having to continually encounter many struggles like that, they're seemingly small. They're not small because they affect us really, severely. Um, but you really need to start shutting that down, because it might seem like a little to you, but no, that's the reason why Black women feel the way they feel today. Why I'm instinctively a shy person, so I feel, looking back on my journey, I feel like I was held back because of that. I could have been where I am right now earlier in my life if I didn't have people talking over me and telling me I didn't belong here. Um, so I definitely hold a grudge against that. Being told that, and being like, and then finally going through this career change and being in the career that I truly wanted to be all my life, and not starting that career until I was 30 years old, because I was told I wasn't for me until I was 30. Um, so yeah, and that's like, and that's why things like Black Girls, this isn't but tech specific thing, but Black Girls Code is kind of for a reason like that, because I don't want more journeys like myself where I'm being told that it's not for me. We need to give these tools and resources to the black girls, young black girls early, so they know that it's for them early on. And that applies to every industry as well. That can be done in every industry, and I'm sure it is being done to some degree. So yeah, that's the point that I wanted to touch on.
No, I think that's a major point, and especially the idea of microaggressions. Like you said, it's something where it seems small, but those things affect mentality. That affects what things are available to us. That affects so much, and so those things add up, and that's why they're called aggression. Like a micro, but they're aggressions because they are an act. Each of those things is an act of violence in some way, and I think a lot of times people tend to be like, oh, well, I'm not racist, so I'm not as bad. And it's like, okay, yes, you may not be wearing a white hood and burning a cross in my yard. But the fact that because you think you're not as bad as that, that means you've completely stopped trying to unpack anything else. That's still dangerous, because it's like, as a result, you decided in your mind that you don't need to do the work anymore, and you don't need to unpack what you're doing. And therefore, you're just as dangerous in just a different way. It's like, a lot of times people don't realize, like, racism isn't as in your face as it used to be, and 100 years ago, but it's like it still exists. And there's so many things that it's like, because it's been in people's lives for generations, like, yeah, like any habit, it's gonna take some time to unpack, like it's gonna take some time to undo. But we're not asking you to be perfect tomorrow, but we are asking you to start putting the work to improve, so that way this time next year, some of those things you're doing are no longer a thing that you think to do. You know what I mean? It's like, it takes time, but we're asking people to put in the work. It's like, if we had to put in the work of dealing with those microaggressions, y'all can deal with putting the work of unpacking them. That's what we're asking for, is like growth and improvement. It's like, accountability means we want to see you improve. And that's what we're asking for, is like, we want to see you improve, and we don't want to deal with this. Okay, we're trying to live our lives. We don't want to deal with this. We're done with it. uh yeah, I forgot to also mention to the chat, we do have a feature. If you have questions you want to ask us, feel free to use the channel point redemption uh, at the bottom of your page and submit a question, and they'll send it to us. And we do have a question that came in. Let me pull it up real quickly. Oh my God. I finally downloaded Discord onto a desktop, which my team has been getting mad about me for using browser Discord. So let's see. All right. So we have a question from the chat, and they say, okay, so yeah, so where is the line drawn on celebration of Black culture? This year's MLK Day, I used to have a MLK in a group where I think I subconsciously knew we're majority Black. Do you have advice on how I can celebrate Black people and Black events and Black culture without making Black people uncomfortable? I really want to be better and learn. I'm ashamed of the incident and apologize. Listen to them afterwards. Yeah, I think that's a really good question in terms of, because I think there's a lot of people who are in situations like that right now where it's like we have days like Juneteenth where it became a federal holiday, but it's a holiday that's not really meant for everyone to be celebrating. So it's like, what is advice that y'all have for people who are not Black on ways to uplift and celebrate these events and these holidays in a way that's respectful? If anyone
Uh,
wants to jump in.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I think one way for sure, support Black businesses always. Support your Black content creators. You can up and people who aren't content creators, I feel like there are ways that you can support them and uplift them as well. And not make it something about you. Like just listen to them. Like we're doing right now. We are literally telling our experiences, we're being vulnerable, we're giving you um lessons and things like that. I feel like just listen to people. Uh and yeah, just support them in whatever way that you can. And sometimes like that may just be listening and not saying anything at all. Um so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people feel like they need to be saying something at all times. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes it really is okay to sit back and just observe and process things. Like sometimes it's better to just say nothing than to just say something like, just sit and listen. Like literally, it costs no money, it costs no energy to just sit and listen. Like it really does make a difference though. Because we want to see you processing the information we're giving you, not just hearing it and then having got the other ear. It's like we need you to hear it and then actually like ingest it and then apply it. Yeah. Lyrica, were you can see something as well?
Oh yeah. So I was just gonna say that, especially I think one of the things that can helps the absolute most is education. Like education and knowledge is so important. And if us as Black women, if a Black person is offering up education for you, just listen and take it. Just listen and take it. If they're not offering, don't expect that person to educate you. It is not necessarily our um job to do so. So I would definitely say don't expect that, or if that's something you're looking for, consider paying up. But if we're offering to drop some knowledge on you, take it, because then you can then pass that knowledge on to somebody else. And just like how hate is passed on, so is learning, unlearning that, and so is re-education. And so that's a really powerful tool and a great way to celebrate, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think uh there's so many instances we see on social media of Black people giving so much free education on so many things, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, like all these things. People are giving out so much free education, and then people want to fight it so hard instead of listening. And also, there are people whose jobs literally are to do that kind of education. And so like if you feel like you have a gap in your knowledge, or you hear something that someone mentions in a panel, you're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Like feel free to seek out people who actually specialize in those things and like seek the education. You know what I mean? It's like there are people out there that get that information, literally searching like, Black women and blah 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 experience, whatever, and you'll probably find someone online who specializes in that. and is willing to gladly take your money to tell you about ways to improve. But yeah, I think a lot of times people don't realize that like we are giving you the education, we're giving you the tools. It's a matter of whether or not you'll actually take it and apply it or not, because it's there. It's a lot of times people see it right in front of them and don't want to apply it. It's like we're really trying to make it as easy as possible for you, and a lot of y'all still don't want to take it, but we're really doing our best to make it real accessible. Um, but yeah, I think we had one more question that popped in. Did anyone else have? By the way, did anyone else have any other thoughts on that?
Well, I was going to piggyback basically what on everybody else said in terms of just sitting back and listening, ingesting the information. But another takeaway aside from that is when you find yourself in a position where you have the chance to like speak for us and we're there, do not. Full stop. I mean, passing the
Yep.
information that you learn from us to other people is one thing, but if we're there and you want to be the voice of reason, don't do that. That is just actually very, very disrespectful. Give us that platform if it's theirs for us to be there, for us to have it in the first place. And that was pretty much it. I just wanted to add that part to the rest of everything else.
No, yeah, it's beyond infuriating when people explain your own experiences back to you, especially yeah.
To
We're
that
gonna say
too.
that.
I want to add to that too. Like talking for us and another, like if you say you're an ally and like if some trauma happens and you make that sentimental tweet saying like, "Oh, I'm here for you," but you don't actually show it, cut that out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Throw it away. Forget it tomorrow. Don't do that anymore, please. For the love of God, stop it. Because we see you when you do it, and it ain't cute.
Very that, yeah. I think that's been interesting watching this past year is the amount of people who've had like Black Lives Matter in their bios, and then so the year have removed that from their bios because it's like, oh, y'all actually didn't mean that. I was like, you meant that, and then someone called you out or held you accountable, and then you said, oh, never mind, and quickly erased it. I literally watched an encounter last week on Twitter. Someone said an encounter happened, and someone literally removed it from their bio, and they in the process of being argued with on Twitter, and I was like, "Ooh." This is
We
wild.
see you. We
it.
see
We
you.
see you. We see you.
We see it,
Literally.
we screenshot it. We keep it locked in memory. We know.
Yeah, especially I feel like in this past year when a lot of us, we've been working from home or whatever, and so like we have a lot more time to see what y'all are saying, and so like don't think that we're gonna forget that. I was like, trust and believe every Black person, all that thing you commented, they saw whatever the things you've been liking, they've seen the things you've been sharing. We see it. We're not gonna forget it. Like, best believe when I see you in person, I'm gonna think about you another way than I did before. If I saw you say something like that, I will not forget that. Like, at least for me personally, I keep that mental list, and I'm like, okay, yep. I can be cordial, but I don't want to engage with you in the same way again because that affects us. And it's like this isn't something fun. This is our lives at stake. This isn't just something for play. Like, this isn't just something to boost your social media. This is our lives at stake. And that's why we're like, we see it and it's not cute and we see through it. And if you don't mean it, don't offer it. Don't offer that service. Like you said, like if you're not actually going to be here for us, then don't say I'm here for you. But then when something goes down, you are nowhere to be seen. Like, don't offer it unless you mean it. Because there are some people who really do follow through and something happens and they'll check up on you and they'll reach out, and other people who don't. And it's like, actions speak louder than words. It's so much louder. We see it. We see you. And yeah, I was like, even if people are cordial, people will still see through the BS, and they'll definitely look at you funny for sure. I want to shift the conversation a little bit. So we were talking about sort of some of the burdens of being a Black woman, but I also want to talk about some of the positives. Because there are a lot of great things to being a Black woman. It's like, which is what I love, is that we get to be something that not everyone can be, and that's wonderful. So I feel like we have so many examples of strong Black women throughout history. From like Harriet Tubman to Beyonce. We have a wide range of powerful Black women in history. Are there any Black women that have influenced you in any way or inspired you in how you exist or how you have shaped who you are today?
I gotta think about this one.
um, I can start if everyone's ready. I think for me, uh, I know it's kind of cliche, but I always think about my mother first and foremost. Just as someone that I've seen her, someone who is an educator, who someone who inspired me because she's an educator who has constantly worked to think about how she can unpack certain biases in education, which is why I respect her so much because she's been someone who's been the forefront of in in our county about being like, you know what, there's certain things that need to change in the education system to make this experience better for the children that we're teaching. And so that's something I've always respected, and I've always respected the way that she's handled conflict in terms of like she'll hold her ground, but she's very strategic. She's like, I'm gonna find a way to word my words carefully in a way that it's gonna come hit you and that you cannot negate what I'm saying. And the idea that like the the way that she's always gone about handling issues and bringing things up in a way that makes sure that uh, people understand what she's saying and that people understand that she's serious about what she's saying. And that's always been something that I've always carried with me in terms of how I interact with people and other situations of thinking about like how she would go about it and thinking about like, okay, how can I address these situations in a way that's going to be the most impactful and get my point across as well as possible, and also make sure that people have no reason to negate it. It's been something that's been really impactful for me. Yeah. Anyone else?
Um, yeah, I definitely think, like you said, my mom is also an educator, and she has not only does she educate other people, who suffer from special needs, and she has educated me and my brother to know so much and like what's right and what's wrong, and just even as like bringing me up, like, I don't know, she's just done such a good job, and I respect her so much. And then even as far as, like, the Black women in my family, my aunt, I didn't have the opportunity to know my grandparents because they passed away, and my aunt really, like, stepped up and took care of my mother at such a young age, and she stepped up and took places, like, as if she was, our grandparents. So, like, I'm just I think they are somebody that, they are 2 people that I genuinely look up to, and they're just so amazing, and they taught me so much, and, like, I know that I can always go to them, with questions, problems, concerns, so I really love them dear.
I love that. Yeah, I think uh, something so beautiful about having people in that you've been raised by and that are in your family that you can constantly look to and have that as a guiding force to keep referring back to. Absolutely. Lyrica, what about you?
I think for me, I would say that my grandmother, my dad's mother was such an just a strong woman, a strong Black woman figure in my life. Unfortunately, she died when I was very young, and because of different family circumstances and decisions that adults make, we ended up being very disconnected from the Black side of my family, and I kind of lost that disconnection of not having any kind of strong Black women or Black women that I look up to in my life, that were in my inner circle. So for me, I had the amazing, wonderful opportunity of meeting Maya Angelou when I was young. And I remember just jumping, diving headfirst into all of her work and remembering all of the examples that she gave of the Black woman and the perseverance of the Black woman and the beauty and the wonder of the Black woman. And so that really stuck with me throughout my life. That was an example that I always turn back to. And then like today, people like My Lady Confetti, who are constantly reminding me of the work that needs to, and all of us, of the work that needs to be done, and our place in that, and also celebrating ourselves and things like that. And so it's kind of like a newer journey for me that I'm very much enjoying.
I love that. Yeah. I think there's so much to be said about again, like the family that you have around you, as well as also the people that are we see in our in our timelines right now, and the people who are just like us creating content and pushing frontiers is really inspiring to see. uh and see y'all, if y'all are following Milady Confetti, you should be. uh so do that right now, because she's everything. She's everything. Period. Anyone else want to jump in?
I got a few. It's oh,
Yeah.
I gotta think about it. I want to say like all the women in my family, like my mother, my aunts, my grandmother. Like I said, in my family, it's a blessing and a curse, I'd say. But we have been blessed and cursed with genetics that might be bust, the hips, everything, the features, the cheekbones. And they really taught me throughout the years what beauty is as a Black woman. So, like I said before, but when I was a kid, people would be like, oh, you're pretty as a Black woman. But literally every time I see my family, they constantly uplift me as I grow older, like, oh, you're becoming such a beautiful woman. That's it. So that's very nice to have that, like we said before, we want to uplift each other, which is very cathartic and very good. In this industry, I've only been doing content creation for 3 years and seen so many amazing Black content creators like Milady Confetti, like Miss Ashrox, like X Mirror Mirror, like Cup of Noodle, like Story Mode Bay. They're unapologetically themselves, and they show they show that they are here, but they are successful content creators as Black women. And I'm just like, I'm here for it. I look up to these women. We have no choice but to stand. So I can keep going because I have like a full list of people. I'm like, you know what? Because of
Yes.
these people, they make me feel great.
But truly though, I think especially on Twitch, where this is a white male dominated site. That's just the nature of gaming in general and the site. And so it's so wonderful to see so many Black female creators who are coming up and really pushing uh what this website is about, and as well as like the industry as a whole. And we thank all of them for that and the content you're creating, as well as we're also part of that movement of like being in the forefront of speaking up and getting ourselves out there and just being visible. And the fact that every time we stream, that is an act of bravery, and that is an act of joy to put forth that content and to keep contributing to that. And so we love to see it. And yeah, those are all names that, like, I remember when I first started on Twitch, I was like, ooh, let me hit follow all these people. So if y'all aren't following any of those names you just heard, you need to do it. Especially
Type it in
also,
chat real quick.
right, truly, I'm sure hopefully Ahmad caught all those and is typing them up. Also, in addition to that, please also, if you're watching, follow everyone who is in this panel right now. I believe you have a command for that, but follow Black content creators. It makes so much to come into our chat, to talk to us, to even if you're lurking and just being there, like all those things really do mean a lot. And so support your Black artists, not just today, not just February, but support them all year long, because they really are putting the work. And also, like, we're all entertaining as hell. So like, why wouldn't you want to watch us? We're all very entertaining. Period. Tasha or Metal and Coffee, did you have anyone else that you wanted to speak on?
I can.
Yeah.
I only have like two, but doesn't mean that's the maximum for sure. There are many,
Oh,
many
yeah.
beautiful Black women. But in terms of, and I'm sure I touched on this a little bit, but I do have a lot of experience in music journalism. I am a metal DJ, but I really, really was into college radio, and it was very hard to find anyone who looked like me. It's still very, very hard to find anyone who looks like me who is into heavy music and who is a critique and who writes about it. And I want to say that Lana Dawes, who is also a music journalist and into super hardcore metal who wrote a book about being a Black woman in metal called "What Are You Doing Here?" Answering the question that she always got at metal shows. Um, it's it was really refreshing to meet her and talk with her and connect with someone who really understood the Black experience when it really came to just listening to heavy music and the weird stuff that happens at shows when you enter, like people staring at you like you don't belong and just very alienating things. So it was really cool to meet another Black woman who experienced that kind of thing, but is genuinely authentically into the music, because it's all about the music. It's all about how it makes you feel. We aren't here to be that token Black person just to be this one person in front in a sea of white people. We are here because we like the music, and we are here because we belong here. And so I wanted to give a shout out to Lana Dawes, who's super cool. And of course, my mother, she passed away a couple of years ago, but she has been my number one cheerleader, and I still think about her every day. Um, Always telling me I'm beautiful, and I think she said that because she understood how important it was to tell your Black daughter that. So shout out to her.
I love that. Yeah. I I think, no matter however long we've had with people, to cherish those moments and to cherish what they did for us is so important and so beautiful. And I love that. Yeah. Anyone for you, Tasha?
Yeah, I was still compiling my list in comparison, but in a similar situation with Lyrica, in terms of being far, removed or sort of removed in my childhood from my father's side of the family. I actually had my stepfather who was also Black. His mother was definitely one of a big influence, and I did lose her at the age of 12. But she was one of the people that actually, especially in the midst of growing up with mostly males, it was okay for me to be feminine, but at the same time, if I want to go out and be roughhouse, I can do just that. If I wanted to be artistic, that was not a problem either. Just be true to myself. And I carried that, which I was already carrying it to begin with, but to have her kind of reinstill that was fantastic. Um, and speaking of art, of course, there was a question in the groups of friends of mine that it was basically stating, in terms of like art and music, what grade were you in when you first had a Black teacher? And it was amazing. Like a lot of people, if they did, it was like middle school, high school. My first was actually first grade.
Oh,
A
nice.
Black woman at that. Her name is Mrs. Giles, and another person that kind of instilled a lot, the ability to be artistic and be unabashedly artistic. And it was very much, again, carried most of my life, that there was a woman that was being able to teach art, still be unapologetically a Black woman, and do it. She's retired many years later, but it was an awesome face to be able to see that early. And in terms of other fans, I would say also in terms of other people I look up to, I will pull the famous one, not Michelle Obama or Oprah Winfrey, but Jennifer Lewis, who is unapologetically Black woman, a mental illness advocate. She takes no beep from anybody, and I salute that type of power for her, because every time I hear her speak, it's just like the best thing in the world. If you don't know who Jennifer Lewis is, Google her. She's fantastic.
Literally everything. I aspire to be that level of unbothered when I get older. That is the goal. She is the goal. Oh my goodness. And speaking of being unbothered, I think that is a big thing for a lot of us, is getting to a point where we can just exist and live our lives unbothered. And what are better ways that you would suggest people? We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but more specifically, what are other ways you want to see people be allies to Black women, specifically, not even to Black people in general, but also Black women? Um, we talked about a little bit about like not seeing over people and letting them have the space to speak. But there's anything else we wanted to add on to that? Yeah,
Add something.
yeah.
Um, so I had a panel earlier, and the person who spoke on it they made a really good point on it. Don't be an ally, be an accomplice. Be someone who is willing to, if you're on social media, you're willing to lose followers, XYZ. Be the person, if you do have that one friend who gets away of saying either racist or negative anything, call them out for it. Like, actually do the effort, do the work in showing that you are actually there for us, not just saying, yeah, I'm an ally. Like, there's action speaks louder than words. We've all heard that saying before. So
Yeah.
yeah, actually being an accomplice instead of an ally that's a great way to help Black women for sure.
I love that. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. A lot of times people, I remember, there's someone on TikTok that made a really good point about the idea that a lot of times people's allyship is contingent on like very conditional care. It's like I'm only going to be an ally if it doesn't offend me, or if I can still keep up my family members, or I can still keep up my friends. And it doesn't work that way. It's like that's the whole point, is that you have to be willing to uh put in the work and to deal with those things. And ultimately, obviously the desire is that you wouldn't have to, because you would get through those people, but not everyone's gonna be able to get through to. And so that means you have to be willing to lose some people or cut ties with people that are committed, because some people are just committed to not understanding you. Some people are committed to not valuing your life and are gonna buckle down on that. And you need to be willing to cut some ties if need be, because at the end of the day, it's like you saying you're ally and then still allowing those things to happen does nothing. It gets us nowhere, and it does not improve anyone's quality of life if you're not willing to actually put in the work. So I love that. Yeah, be willing to be outright and dies.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of what you both said, like, yeah, like not only hold yourself accountable, but hold others accountable as well. Like I'd rather you call yourself out and be like, hey, you know what? I messed up. I was misinformed. I need to do better. Like, in order for you to be an ally, you have to realize that there are things that can be fixed within yourself, and you need to listen. I know that I keep saying listen, but like I feel like listening is probably one of the best ways to help. Listen, soak in, and educate, and help educate. But like we said earlier, don't educate before, like if I'm right there, like I got it. Like you can be there, like, but soak in and just read the room, you know? I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, so yeah, just hold yourself and others accountable.
Yeah, and I think there's also nothing wrong with admitting that at one point you were wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay for people to, process information and be like, okay, I'm realizing that some certain way of thinking or certain actions I did were not correct. And that is okay to be like, you know what? That wasn't okay in the past. I'm moving forward. We're gonna improve on that. Like, that's what we're looking for, is the growth. That's how progress happens, is by people taking the information, processing it, and being like, okay, I needed to make a change. I'm processing that what I did before wasn't working. Let me do something different. I think a lot of times when people hear accountability, they instantly think that we're trying to literally run them out of town and everything. And I mean, some people are that bad, but in most cases, usually it's like we're just telling you this so that way you can improve. Like, we're literally telling you this so that way you can fix yourself. And the fact that you instantly jump to thinking that we're trying to literally start a witch hunt, is that says more about how you feel about this than what we're actually trying to do. Like, that speaks volumes. But yeah, absolutely. I think being an ally means that you have to accept that you're not always going to be right, and that you're going to be uncomfortable, and like it's okay that you're going to have to deal with that, but like know that that's part of the process, and that it's not easy, and it's not going to be comfortable, and we're not going to hold your hand through it the whole time, or cuddle you the whole way through. Like, if we had to be uncomfortable for our existence of our lives dealing with it, it means you have to be uncomfortable unpacking it, and that's just what it is. Just what it is. Anyone else?
And
Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and I just wanted, this is totally a small add-on, but don't let like don't be motivated purely by social media either. We don't need to know every time you do something good for Black women or Black people. You can not record it. It's okay. You cannot tweet it. That should be becoming something second nature. You should not feel you need validation for doing things like that.
Yeah, very that. I think there's this weird incentive program that people feel like there needs to be attached to allyship, and it's like, my thing is, it's like the people that are really actual allies, like we don't question it because we know they're putting in the work, and like, you know what I mean, and like we don't, need to see them documenting every single step of it. Like we see you putting in the work, and we see you standing up for us. We see you, like, just as much as we see the people who are being fake, we also see the people who put in the work. So like, yeah, it was like the more you try to get goodie points for it, the more fake it becomes. And yeah, and no one wants to feel like some random incentive. They want to feel like you're caring because you want to care, not because you want to just boost your social media engagement. Because we see that a lot. Something else I want to ask y'all. Actually, Tasha, before we move on, did you have anything else you want to add, or no? Or are you good?
No, you took mine from me. No, you're good. You're good. I was actually going to expand. No, that's all good because I know it makes me realize we're on the same page. But I was gonna quickly
Yes.
expand on the whole idea of the unpacking and how people get defensive and uncomfortable. And I actually had friends go through that, and it's like, you know what? You're going to be uncomfortable. That is true. But I would say, because most people are afraid to unpack because of that discomfort. I've told my friends, if you are too scared to go through that, trust me, I already know that's going to be uncomfortable for you. It's okay. But if you stay in the fear of being discomfort, we get nowhere. I will allow you that space to be uncomfortable, for you to acknowledge that discomfort and come out the other side much better. So I think that may be another thing to add to it, is that we want you to do this because we want you to be better, and we want, for the most part, for us to be cool. But you have to do that work. You have to do that work. It's okay. It really is okay.
Very that. And I think
Yeah.
people, yeah, it's like if we didn't care, we wouldn't say anything. Like, I feel like most people don't realize, like, if we didn't care, we just would not engage with you whatsoever. Like, truly, we would not exert the effort. So if we're exerting the effort, that means we do care to some degree. So yeah, so it's like seeing it as a place of love, of like, because I care enough, I want to see you improve. Not, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people are petty, but most people are doing it because they have enough energy to exert on you. Because it's like, I was like, there's so many people that is not worth the energy that like we do not have the time for. So it's like, trust, if you are getting energy exerted on you, someone cares enough to make sure that you are being a better person, and take that as a sign of love. Someone holding you accountable is an act of love. It is not an act of hate. It is an act of love. And speaking of love, what is something that you love about being a Black woman? Oh wait, Lyrica, were you gonna say something? I think you muted.
Oh,
Oh,
I can go
hey.
first. Hi.
Yeah.
I just feel like, for me personally, there's so many things. I mean, of course, we go through so many hardships being Black women and navigating through life as such. But there's so many unique things, I think, that surround being a Black woman, and the culture around that, and the beauty around that. And I don't think that that's something that I would ever want to trade or take back, no matter what the hardships are. That there's things that are so uniquely beautiful to this experience that are worth the fight every single day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I we're all so young, and we have so much so much more to accomplish in our lives, and so many things to do. And so I love to see it, and we love to hear it. There's so much more for us.
Yeah, I love what you said. As a Black woman, I absolutely love my hair now. I love my culture. That goes as far as the food, the music, the protective hairstyles. I I love my melanin. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, I just love being Black, and I wouldn't change it any other way.
I love that.
I'm not gonna lie.
Diary Diva.
I'm be a little petty. Hopefully I don't get in
Mhm.
trouble. But I love our natural beauty. I love our cheekbones, our melanin skin, the way we just take things in the world. Like there might be people out there who try to put us down, but these are the same people who might, do something to their hair, might tan their skin, might get work done, and I'm just like, "Oh, you gonna put me down, but you trying to look like me? Okay, noted." So I just love that natural beauty that we have. Like no one can take that away from us.
Absolutely. Yeah. They want to be us so bad. And
They try to put us down, but I'm like, "Why are you trying to be like us?
right. I was like, that's on you. And yeah, I think
I'm
there's
just here
a
living my life existing. That's it."
right. Yeah, I think that's the thing is that Black people are the blueprint for so much. And we see it in so many things in culture and so many things in the media. People try to emulate it so badly. Um, and yeah, we are the blueprint. We are the trendsetters. Point blank period. What about you, Tasha?
Yep. Well, again, somebody took my answer, but that's okay. That was basically
Say
gonna
it
come in
again.
to
Say
say
it
petty.
again. Right. Say
I'm
it
just
again.
saying. I'm like, if people
But
put
you
us
are
down,
so
they want to look like
true.
us. Like,
Right. Be
Yeah,
double
it's
petty.
as annoyed as we are when people try to copy us, we low key love the fact that we have the source of what they want to copy, and they really can't take that away from us. And of course, I will piggyback on that as well, and to say that there is, with us having such beauty, such strength, such willpower, the fact that we are collectively, and even being the source and the template, we are collectively not just like a monolith. We're not just a stereotype in one sitting. I mean, we have various types of music, types of food, type of culture, type of beauty preferences, things of that nature, and a collection, which again, like Die Hard Diva said, people try to emulate and try to copy and things like nature. We still carry the forefront. We are pretty much the cradle of all of that, and that's something definitely to be proud of.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was like, I'm always like, be double petty and be like, I think that is something that is so much fun to, as a Black person, sit back and be like, y'all really grasping at straws here. I remember seeing a TikTok where uh, uh, Megan Thee Stallion's new song is like a trending song, but it's all by people who don't know what to do on the sound. So they're just like, and someone literally is like, someone please make a dance to this so these white people can stop being confused because it's so bad to see them just not know how to dance to this song without a Black person creating a dance for them to emulate and do poorly to the song. But the idea of like, y'all are really lost without us. Y'all are so lost. Y'all are beyond lost that y'all literally do not know what to do when a good dance song comes out. Y'all are like, snap, I guess. It's like y'all are so lost without us. We are literally guiding y'all on how to be entertaining. Truly guiding y'all by the hand because y'all do not know how to do it. What about you, Metal and Coffee?
I honestly don't have much to add. It's all been covered. I just love how, as Black women and Black people, we have dipped in every aspect of the world, interests, personalities, just every industry. The history has attempted to be erased that we were ever there, but we have been there. And I think I'm very proud and to be a Black woman because of influence. Everyone wants to be us, but they can't. We are us, and we are beautiful. And I'm proud of my, just like Die Hard Diva said, my high cheekbones, my big bust, big booty, all that.
Yes, you better use them. You better enjoy them. You better love them. I was like, I still sometimes wish I could detach my chest every now and then in the summertime, just get rid of the titty sweat, and then reattach them. But that is, I'm sure we're all like, yeah, that heat is not cute. So if you see someone with a larger chest, please just give them a fan in the summertime. Just give them a fan. But truly though, yeah, I think I agree with you. It's like there's so many things that are wonderful to love about our bodies, to love about our skin, to love about what we create in the world. Um, and yeah, I want to. I'm so excited to see as we see more and more people. More and more people embracing that and loving that in the media. I'm so excited for like future generations of kids who will grow up and more of them loving themselves from from day one, you know, and having less of that to impact and just being able to embrace that and enjoy that from birth. And it's people like us who are speaking on it and bringing it to the forefront now that are paving the way for people who haven't been able to embrace that to start embracing it, and for people who are new into the world to start embracing it from a younger age. And we love to see that. And speaking of the future, uh, what are some goals and things that for yourself that you want to see yourself accomplish uh, moving forward? And how can people in the chat support you to make those goals happen? Whether it's monetarily, physically, tell people what your goals are and how you want people to support you to get you there. Because that's what I want. I was like, by the way, just a reminder, we have the exclamation point reparations, which is we're doing a tip pool to help support giving some funds to all of our panelists today. So if you want to support us, hit that exclamation point, donate, give your coin. If you're white, double it. But if you got goals, I want to hear them, and I want you to tell the chat how they can support you and the best way to support your future goals. Thank you. Let's start with you, Lyrica. I keep talking to you. Sorry. You were like,
That's fine. That's fine. I wasn't formulating my answer. I don't know what you're talking about. So I think for me right now, my goal is to try to transition into being a full-time content creator. I really try to use my platform to not only, of course, hang out and have fun and just exist as a Black woman on this platform, but also to kind of raise awareness for mental health and accessibility for people with disabilities, since I am also a disabled streamer. And so trying to go forward with that, we actually just had a situation where the setup that I used to stream is no longer working. So we are currently actually fundraising to get me an actual PC setup. So that's where we're going right now. So if you want to donate to that on this Juneteenth,
donate and get her that setup, y'all. follow Lyrica, go to her channel, find her social media, find the links, donate, and make that happen. Make it happen. Yes. Dahar Diva, what about you?
So, just like Lyrica, I'm currently a part-time, hoping to go full-time one day. I am here on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. I do cosplays, hoping to do more cosplays. You can find me on Instagram or even post it on Twitter. I've been playing video games since Super Nintendo. Don't think about my age, but I'd really like to get more into the gaming industry, whether it's either working on like upcoming games, helping folks who are trying to start this like journey in the content creation world, help people who feel like, just because I'm a Black individual, I don't want to be seen like, oh, you just do the traditional things, oh, you like rap, XYZ. No. I'm a horror content creator. I am partnered with Dead by Daylight. You're endless. Your dreams are endless. You can do whatever on this platform. So I hope to help others achieve their goals if they want to work in this gaming industry.
Absolutely.
Seriously, help me get me out of my day job, because I want to do this full time. Help me, please.
Yes.
Please.
So y'all show up to our streams, follow our content online, engage with that content, boost that content. A lot of those companies look for the engagement, so boost and engage with their content. Donate and support her so she can do this full time, because living expenses are add up, rent and bills and all that, food, all that adds up. Support her. Support. What about you, the cauliflower?
All right, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but same. I am part-time currently. I want to be full-time. I also want to do a lot more charity. So hit me up if y'all want charity streams, like hit me up. I would love to do that. I just want to become a full-time content creator. And I want to do so many things. So please help me get there.
Absolutely. Go follow now. Please engage. Oop. Plug my headset. We're good. That was me. Engage their content, boost them. And yeah, if you are someone who knows charities, please reach out to the Cauliflower. I would love to see that happen. because you are so sweet, and I've seen you raise money for charities. You kill it, so you can't go wrong. What about you, Tasha?
Oh, well, I was gonna say first combo breaker because I am a part-time streamer, and I really hadn't really put forth goals or intentions just yet because I'm still trying to fill the space out along with a full-time job. But I would love to stay in this aspect, whether I become a full-time streamer or even an assistant from a marketing aspect on the back end from the gamers. And hold my beer in terms of age. You said Super Nintendo, sweetie, Atari 2600. Yeah. So it's definitely been an
Never
aspect of
mind.
my life as well. Yeah, I'm old, y'all. But yes,
You
I
still
would.
you still young. You still young.
Thank you. I'm gonna hide my hair.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, it's in development. Whether I pursue a full-time career or even if I just become kind of a back end of a producer of a marketing aspect of it, that would also be a great intention that I'm still trying to flesh out, still in the works. Stay tuned.
Stay
But also
tuned,
come visit
y'all.
me.
That part, which means in order to visit, you gotta follow, you gotta tune in, you gotta check out their social media, show up and show out. What about you, Metal and Coffee?
Well, I think my number one goal is to be a bigger voice in the tech industry as a Black woman, specifically for influencing other Black women and people of color to get into tech and see the space that's there for them. I really want to make my channel a lot. I do play a lot of horror games, but I am going to focus on that coding aspect. So it's very a passion for me. And I, as someone previously sharing my story that I got into the career late because of being held back, I don't want anyone else to experience that. I want people to come to my channel, be like, hey, ask me what I'm doing. I'll walk you through some code. You can code a website with me. We can do this together. So I want to be a voice for that. And yeah, I'm a little tiny baby channel right now. We have 300 followers, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there and be that voice that I want to be for small Black, well, young Black women, and adults as well. We're gonna get there.
Yes. And yeah, and I think that's so beautiful. I think people sometimes feel like, oh, because a channel is smaller, it's like, oh, whatever. It's like, no. I was like, great content is happening no matter what size of the channel, and y'all can only help build that channel by showing up, following, tuning in, engaging the content. So that, especially if that's something you're interested in, please show up because Metal Coffee is a wealth of knowledge that they're willing to share. So please show up and show out. Myself personally, I do love drag. I want to do it full time, but drag is an expensive field to be in because it costs a lot to look good. So pay me some real booking fees. book me, book me. I am available. I got my Pride colors on. I'm available for Pride. But in general, also again, show up to the streams, show up, engage with the social media content, show up and show out, and just like for all of us, be there for us. Uh, Show us through your actions, not just your words, that you support us and support our peers and our friends as well. Um, I've enjoyed this panel so much, and I've really appreciated hearing what everyone has to say. I think we are out of time, I believe. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna wrap it up, but please in the chat, please make sure to go follow all of these wonderful content creators. Please make sure to give them some love and stick around because we have some more content coming up after this. We have the drag show coming up. You might see someone that you recognize and some other talented faces in that show. So stick around. And thank you so much for everyone for tuning in and for being here for Black people. Happy Juneteenth, y'all. Yay! Mwah.